Oh, this is the podcast studios brought to you by Machine Inc. Welcome, everybody.
Anthony Uroni,
Jonathan Siana,
great to have you on.
thanks for having me.
I feel like we haven't hung out in a long time.
It does seem that way, especially considering we live, 3 minutes away from each other?
Yeah.
Maybe 6 if you're riding a bike.
Yeah, we live very close to each other. Absolutely. Well, at least we get to do this. This is kind of fun.
Yeah, and we're going to see each other this weekend too.
Why?
Our wives planned a play date.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. I initiated that play date.
You did.
You're welcome.
So what are we talking about?
I wanted to get on Grok because it is amazing. We are going to go down the rabbit hole.
All right, let's do it.
Start it up.
Which rabbit hole do we want to go down?
We just see what this is about, or do you want to ask it something? Should we just start clicking in?
Yeah, do the one with the water.
Make a video.
Lately, I've been going down all these rabbit holes, just wasting hours upon hours on YouTube of watching all these different videos, and they've all been, the algorithm just starts feeding you similar content and more stuff. That'd be a dope vacation spot.
You can go there in the metaverse.
Just gotta have the goggles, right?
Yeah, and there's a fee. I'm going to charge you. That's crazy, right? Elon. This is Elon Musk's software. Is that right?
Yeah, XI.
Just for the record, none of this information is correct.
We're just speculating.
Yes, none of this is correct information. That's pretty amazing. All right, let's see what else it does. Just right into itself. TV. Sorry. All right.
Technical difficulties.
So that's like. So the image stuff is, obviously.
These images were all rendered based on an input that you provided, though, right?
Nope. This is just based on what it was projecting. So it was showing
Based
us
on past things you've looked up, like
me.
again, some
No.
sort of algorithm.
No, this is nothing done yet.
Or maybe
is-
these are results of like what other people have asked for, and it's like, hey, here, check this stuff out.
That's possible. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, it's pretty great. I mean, look at that. That's like years of work. Think about how long it would take to be able to render that by hand.
And it took this probably half of a second.
I mean, I don't know. It's just showing up. Look, waffles. You think we could put some syrup on those waffles?
Might help it structurally.
This is amazing. Look, all right, check this out. So, like, what does that mean? Like, how quick before, like, nothing, like, nobody's graphics matter? Like, how far is that away? Because
At this rate, not long at all. I mean, there was. I feel like it wasn't that long ago when all this generative AI was being developed, and they were saying that there's something to help identify that it was artificially created by AI.
like some Bob Ross. I don't know if the audio goes through. I don't think it does.
And like looking at these pictures, it's pretty fair and easy to assume it was created by AI. But where there are some pictures that like you really couldn't tell the difference. Like it could have been somebody who was just really talented artist,
Right.
that would have taken long time to do versus AI. But where do you see that difference? Is it like in the coding of the picture because it's all the data? Is that where you, or to the naked eye, like how would you be able to literally tell the difference?
It
Because I think
depends.
we're getting to that point now, especially with all the different social medias, Instagram, TikTok. People are just reposting and sharing this stuff. I think these things are spreading so quickly
Yeah.
that there's no way for the regular Joe Schmo end user to know, and they're not validating like, oh, is this real or is this AI? Like,
I
they're
mean,
just,
what's the
hey, cool
difference
picture, yeah.
at that point?
So
I think.
I mean, it's already taken over.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I know that you can. I know it's based off of models, so I'm sure you could loop it into itself. Like you could create an infinity mirror with certain ideas. I mean, eventually, and just watch it.
They're learning models,
Yeah.
so they learned off of original content,
Right.
and yeah, now they're just cycling their own stuff potentially.
But this has like a specific fingerprint. Now, like if I write,
What is painterly style?
Monet was a pointillist. Yeah, that's not real. See, it's not this Van Gogh. That's kind of close, but it's not pointillism. Let's get it to do what we want. No, it's close. I mean, it's impressionism, not pointillism. You want to see what pointillism is? I could spell it.
Wouldn't it be A-L?
Pointillism.
Oh, you got it right.
Pointillism is a technique of painting in which small, distinct dots of color are applied in patterns to form an image. As such. So, pointillism. This would be the one I think you might recognize from the movement. Monet. Find it. This is a famous one. This is famous. This is famous. Most of his work is famous.
Yeah. While you're looking this up, it reminds me. I just heard this the other day. You think of all these famous painters, Monet, Da Vinci, Picasso,
Yeah.
and like I feel like most people, I know I did, kind of group them generally around the same era. But do you know when Pablo Picasso died?
No. Let's look.
It was 1973. Not that long ago.
Yeah.
Like you associate him with like the Renaissance era, or at least again, I feel like most people do, just general art.
Yeah. I knew he was
But he was
alive
like
not
much
that
more
long.
recent.
Yeah, he's a very recent artist. I mean, Disney's recent. They're around the same time. My idea is this: Picasso's the father of cartoons. He's the first one to say the jug is a person's head, kinda.
Yeah, looking at things abstract and saying it doesn't have to be
Yeah.
the way you see it.
So I mean, and that's kind of the era too. Let's see. Era. Picasso's working era, 1937. Yeah, let's see. Era. Got to use the AI. Disney's working era for various periods image company, notably including the 1941 animator strike.
Hey, Disney just hit 100 years last year, so they started in 24, I believe. Or earlier this year, 25. Last year of last century. Because they just celebrated 100 years. They rolled out
Okay.
that they had that movie just came out. Wish.
Okay, so yeah,
That was like their
1923.
100-year anniversary like movie release.
Okay, so 1923.
25. Or
Yeah.
no, 20.
This says 23 was founded.
Okay. All right, close enough.
So what? And was, I guess, Cubism. Cubism was created between 1907 and 1914. See? He is. Picasso is the father of cartoonism. Let's see if Grok. I made a Picasso. Did you see it? I made a drawing that, well, it's supposed to be.
I think I remember seeing it. I remember seeing one with your pointillism. I remember you had one where you had dots on everything. It's not in your studio over there.
No, it's not. It's not. That belongs in a pool hall because of the way it got done, but ain't like Picasso. Well, let's see this. What do we want it to paint? Paint an image of Rain and Mag. Oh yeah. And Cubist. Jeez.
Gotta go back to that
Mavis
typing
Beacon.
lessons. Yeah.
I just want to connect it to my mind. You know, this is cool. This is kind of like the Brady Bunch sort of era.
Just piecing everything together.
Yeah, like this. It's a very like gesturely sort of work. And it's nice to look at. It lends itself to stained glass.
Yeah.
But no, I mean that you want to do a design, it's done. Your design's done.
So going back to what you were originally saying, where does this leave people as far as creators going forward? Because anything that you want to create can be done artificially, and how can you really take credit for that?
Is it not being done artificially now? Mostly. I mean,
using softwares to create a lot of it, but it's still the person's thoughts and inputs on how to use the software to make it. Versus you could just say, create an image in the style of Picasso and boom, it's done. Like, you didn't tell it to make sure the crane was facing left. I mean, there's two types of cranes, a bird and a literal machine. So it's like,
see how good it is though? You see, it's making real art.
that's definitely unique.
There's going to be a paper crane if we keep scrolling.
It even has a fake signature on the bottom right of it.
Like, all I want to do is sit, and I just want it to keep changing, and I want to watch it. That's what I want. Like, how hard can that be? Can we run this through, like, Python? I want to get in touch with anybody that knows Python, and I want them to just start running simple models, like just filter models. It's so fucking easy. Pardon my language, I think. Or it sounds easy.
I'm sure that's not far away. And
I
all you
mean-
got to do is get
Python.
Apple Vision Pro, or what's the meta version? The
Oculus.
Oculus, something that, again, virtual reality.
Yeah.
And you could just live in a virtual world that's just cycling through. And you'll end up being like one of those people just sitting on a bed all day long, like in the movie Ready Player One. Or Wall-E.
Okay. Wally's cute.
You're going to be a 300-pound person just not able to physically move, but living out your whole entire life virtually because a computer is going to satisfy you. It's going to appease your mind. Sadly, I feel that is a stark reality in the next 100 years. our society is going to be moving that way. I mean, you're the one that showed me the Apple Vision Pro. How you had me to go test it, about how
What'd you think?
it was awesome. It's only a matter of time before the price point comes down.
How is it not the Matrix? Like, how is haptic feedback not the most obvious next like integration, because it's so believable?
I'm sure there will be, yeah.
It-
Haptic feedback suits or gloves or something to make you like feel.
There are like the Disney. He's walking on the thing. There's definitely gloves, and then you think like the most. Whoa! Hey, take it easy.
What I do?
Nothing. I don't know. Is this thing making sounds? Hold on. Hello.
Hello.
We're back. I don't know what that was.
Have you seen the movie Ready Player One?
I have not.
So it's
But right now, your head is being cut off by the screen. There you go. Yeah. Because I got it superimposed. We could take it down, but it's nice to leave it up so they don't see this.
that's fine. So yeah, Ready Player One. It's set in the, I forget what year it's supposed to be set in, but essentially you're wearing an Oculus or a Vision or a virtual reality headset. Depending how much money you have, how much you can afford, they have haptic feedback, gloves, full suits if you can afford it,
Mm-hmm.
and you basically enter this virtual world,
Yeah.
and you stay physically in reality within 3 or 4 square foot space,
Mm-hmm.
and they have multi-directional walking pads,
Mm-hmm.
and you just like lean against a ring or something to keep you in
Balance.
place. But I mean, it basically looks like that. And as soon as you go into the world, then you could do whatever you want. And you have all these features that you can do, and people just live out their lives. And then they come back they take it off, and they're in a shitty little apartment.
This is Ready Player One.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of like upcycled shipping containers, right? It's like a post-apocalyptic
Yes,
semi.
because people have abandoned trying to improve their life in the real world. Are you getting an echo?
Not really.
I'm getting an echo of my own sound.
Is that hard for you?
No, as long as it doesn't screw up the
No.
sound itself. But yeah, people just resort to saying I can live out it's easier to live out the life I want virtually. So they don't give a shit about their real life surroundings, just making sure that they have enough to eat to survive.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's
as soon as the technology comes down in price a little bit, which the rate things go nowadays will probably be in the next 5-10 years, I foresee a lot of people becoming like some sort of like an addiction that people need support for.
yeah, right.
There's gonna be like
anything.
There's gonna be support groups for like, is it hard to deal with reality? Are you like
Well, I think-
escapism? Like they just want to leave their like living in a Sims game, but it's much more real, so it's easier to convince yourself that that's reality.
Well, I guess the ultimate question is this: if we created something that mimics reality so much that I don't really know the difference, how do I know this is not that? And then the mind turns on itself. That's why it's good to have things like an ego and names and like the mailman that comes by, like all these things that like I think new thoughts or like maybe liberal ideas are about like pushing, and really it's kind of like it preserves our humanity. Like you're supposed to get rid of your ego, your name, it's just a label, it's kind of like hippy dippy talk, but it might be necessary because I don't know. What does it mean for mental health? That's the question.
Right, and that's where I was trying to get at. I mean, the question you just raised is like, okay, are we already in the Matrix? Like, are we already in a simulation that we don't even know the difference? Who knows?
I mean, me and you are definitely in this. If it's some sort of simulation, it's got to be. Visually, it is. It's a re-representation of this beautiful office.
It is a beautiful office.
Thank you.
Did a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, one of the earlier I was saying I've been going down all these rabbit holes on YouTube. One of them is Neil deGrasse Tyson. You know who he is?
Absolutely. Yep.
The astrophysicist, and he just has such a simple way of. He just explains things in such a easy to comprehend way. Like he breaks down, you know, complex scientific or whatever topics, and he just has a way of explaining them that just makes it easier to comprehend and follow.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
one of the videos was exactly about this. Like, okay, everything that we are able to measure scientifically
Mhm.
all can boil down to math. There's mathematical equations to be able to solve anything. We can find patterns. We can find again the formulas for gravity, speed of light, all these other things. So it's like, what's to say that these are all just not the parameters of the computer program that we are living in, and we're just figuring we're able to measure because it's all predictable.
Macros.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's
But they are, right? They are in a way. In a way, we could describe them abstractly as being macros or even algorithms. But there's physical manifestation of material that seems to propagate in ways that are recognizably the same. The same type of tree, same type of bush, right? I mean, it's more or less, I guess, if you break it down to coding, which is DNA, genomics, things I don't know anything about, I'm sure those are similar. So, I mean, linguistically, I think it's very much the same. They mean the same thing.
right, but we've created a game, Sims. It's an artificial world. We tell the character what to do, and it goes about living its life.
Mhm.
It doesn't know that it has a higher power, us controlling it. And as far as it is concerned, that is its real world. So
Mhm.
how do we know we are not that simulation for another again,
Dimension or species or
exactly.
level of
It's
consciousness.
it definitely makes you think twice.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't really know anything except empirically. I mean, ultimately, you only know what you've lived, and suppose that could just all be a big dream, right? That never happened. How do you prove it to be different? Hopefully, you don't lose your mind and try to do that in like some extravagant way, you know. But that's kind of like the fear of like if you, that's what happens with kids, right? They do these outrageous things,
Mm-hmm.
but I, I don't know. I think we're gonna have to understand mental health better. We won't have a choice, right? I mean, I think it'll be. It seems like, is it always been a thing in the world, or is it just now something that we like are trying to address in like a way that's not kind of gross because we just didn't have the means prior.
To understand mental health,
Yeah, and like how we treat people.
I think there's more current recognition for the need to understand mental health better. I think in the past it was just more attributed to um,
Some people
without
just crazy. You get out of
as,
school early.
as Chris Rock put it. Yeah, you know, when we were kids, people were just crazy, and there was never as much. You know, there's more research around it, so people are recognizing that there is more to it. I'm not one to speak. I'm definitely not one to speak to the specifics and know much about it, but I do see that in society where there's a shift toward okay, mental health, it needs to be more recognized and addressed rather than just like push through it and you know you'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, I like to ask this question whenever I talk about mental health. What's the real difference between mental health and physical health? And should we separate them? I guess.
I think the only difference is there's more standardized metrics to determine what it constitutes physical health. Like we know what a healthy blood pressure is, we know what a healthy heart rate is, we know what proper amount of red blood cells, whatever, all the different things that they do when you
Yeah.
do blood work or things like that. Like there's standards that you can compare to benchmarks.
Mm-hmm.
Mental health is much more subjective. I guess it would be the proper word.
Yeah.
It's hard to measure something because
So should we say, and like I'm also with you, I'm just speculative because it seems like a big thing. It's a part of everybody's life, right? It's not like separate. Like some people had mental health problems. Now everyone has mental health, just like everyone has gender now, supposedly, We all have these things.
Yeah, I
Or
lost track
ours.
of how many different genders there are now.
How many different genders are you?
I think just the one.
Just the one? I mean, the one reflects the many, doesn't it?
I suppose so.
I don't know either. But yeah, whenever I think about it, it's like, should we put a gauge and say, hey, we shouldn't think about your mental health until we have first looked at all the physical health parameters?
I think that's kind of what's happening now.
It is, right? It's more obvious.
I mean, you go to. I noticed this with Gianna when she was pregnant. Every time she went in for checkups, they would give her a questionnaire.
Okay.
So, how are you feeling? How often are you, like, asking questions to kind of gauge her mental health or her, like, where she was on the, like, potentially depressed or, if there's any
Right.
sort of depression or anything.
Yeah.
So, she'd go in, they'd give her this questionnaire. Obviously, they do all the physical tests. They check the baby, they check her.
Mm-hmm.
And, you'd go in every, month or so
Right.
during the pregnancy, and every time she'd have to fill the same questionnaire. And I'm assuming they were logging it and try to see, okay, is there any changes to these answers?
Right.
But that's the only time I've ever, like, I don't get asked those questions when I go to the doctor. Like, it's, and I understand there's a lot of hormones involved with pregnancy, which can alter your psyche and how you think. So pregnant women are much more prone to potential depression, especially postpartum. So they started measuring that. I don't know how long this has been going on for. I only referenced this to when my 2 kids were born, but I don't know if that was happening 10, 15, 20 years ago or even longer, or if that's just a newer thing. But I guess it's good to see that they're doing that, but it's probably only focused where, it's only being focused where they've noticed trends of depression. It's not being widespread to see where else it could be, at least as far as I can tell.
Yeah. I wonder what it is that Grok thinks is the number one way to
Measure.
or just prime yourself for good mental health. Oh. Prime for good. How can a person best be primed for good mental health? It's like, it seems obvious. Like, so I came home, I went skating on the way home from work one day. Just worked out. There was a little bit of time. I stopped. And my wife was like, it was a rough night and things like that. And I'm like jolly and whatever. And she's like, you don't realize, like, it's not just about, like, the fact that you exercised, right? Like, that's good. That's a good thing. But it's also about, like, that puts you in a place with different chemicals. So, like, I have this chemistry, and it's like, you're fine, you seem fine, which is good, but I'm upset, and it's frustrating that probably you're not, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which, what can I do? I gotta exercise, but it seems like an obvious metric. Let's see what Brock thinks. Did they say anything? Because I remember before we got pregnant, you have to go to a class, and they kind of teach you, right? There's like exercises you should do. Should be thinking about using medicine ball in certain ways, and like basically prepping.
When you first got pregnant?
Yeah, like preparing your hips kind of to shift.
Yeah, for the woman, yeah.
Yeah, like you should do those things. Like there's like an exercise routine, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you get, like kind of like a prescribed to conduct weekly or ceremoniously, however you want to say.
I don't know how far this is going, but just those first 2 points seem relatively obvious, I guess you would say.
What are they?
Cultivating a consistent routine. Make sure you get your 7 to 9 hours of sleep with a consistent bedtime. Just predictability, and that's one thing that we try to, at least I know we've tried to, in my family, tried to establish for our kids. Cause we want to make sure that, especially Liliana, she thrives on a schedule. We've got a calendar in our house
Oh, that. Do you have the digital calendar?
No,
There's one.
I want to get one of those. And she's anti-technology. So what we have a literal calendar, a monthly calendar that's like 14 by 11 that's hanging on a wall, and right next to it on the side of our fridge,
Mm-hmm.
I have the chalkboard that paint that I made a little frame, and she made that a
Oh yeah.
weekly calendar. So she's got
Okay.
Monday through Sunday, and as the weeks progress, she'll fill in each box. She's got 2 columns, one for Liliana, one for Sylvia,
That's cool.
because depending on the day, they may have different things, especially in school. So Liliana, who can now read as well, she can go and she can just see exactly what's coming up, and she knows what's coming. Sylvia's still figuring out what the pictures mean. Gianna tries her best as far as doing that, but
Yeah.
Again, always knowing
The hieroglyphics in the.
always knowing what's coming has been very helpful for her, and Gianna's always been very consistent on trying to enforce bedtimes around the same time. We obviously there's exceptions here and there, holidays, birthdays, different events. Sometimes the kids make their own exceptions if they're sick.
Yeah.
But otherwise, that consistent routine, as Grok is saying, is supposed to be helpful, and I think it is.
Consistent routine. How to do it. Okay, that's it. I'm so. It only says 20 minutes of walking. Set a bedtime routine with no screens. I think that's important. The no screens is kind of important.
Do you get 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night?
I mean, on average, probably. Yeah, probably between there. Why do you think you do?
I think I need my 8 hours. Yeah, because I usually fall asleep around like 10:30, 11 o'clock, and I struggle getting out of bed any earlier than 6:30. So it's like I need that.
I don't like feeling any sort of pressure or like anything is waiting for me. So I get up pretty early and just start getting in front of like as much things as I can for work. And then it's my motivating factor. So like going to bed is easy for me. I like going to bed because by the time the day's done, I'm just like zonked.
If I got stuff to do that's stressing me out, and I had the option of going to bed early and waking up early to get it done, or just staying up late, I'd rather stay up late and do it, because I know I'm already awake and I can get it done. And by going to bed, I'm incorporating a chance that I might not wake up with enough time to get it done.
Well, yeah. You don't want to always.
And knowing my track record of sleeping through the alarm, it's not a good probability. So I always tended to be the night owl and just getting stuff done. When I am able to wake up early, I definitely feel more productive during the day, like knowing that I got more stuff done earlier on, but it's just not a guarantee.
Yeah. So you'll push it. Like, yeah, I'm totally the opposite. Most people I think, will push it to go later. Like I wanted to do I got a lot of friends because I'm popular. Not really, but I have a lot of my friends make music. A lot of people I grew up with, they like to make music or songs or whatever. But like, when do you do that? You do that. The good songs are like 4 a.m, right? It's like 3 a.m. or something.
Whenever you feel inspired.
I guess, yeah. But you know what? I think it's really quiet around that time too. But I'm like, how about this? How about you guys stay up really late one night and I'll just wake up like normal, and then we'll get together around that time for just a little bit. So maybe one day that'll happen. I don't know.
Or you just need to remove yourself from your normal environment and go somewhere where you will be uninterrupted and you have quiet even during the day.
Well, could be like that, except sometimes it's noisy in the office. But they limit it so you wouldn't hear it in recording settings. Maybe. It would feel weird to me.
To do it during the day?
Yeah. This kind of feels weird. Doesn't it?
New for me. Definitely new for me.
We have the same nationality.
We do.
More or less. I think it's the same. So I know all you think about is work.
I feel like it was kind of a part of our upbringing.
Maybe. So doesn't this feel weird? It doesn't really feel like. I mean, it can be considered work.
I mean, you're working.
I am. For
I'm your
me, this
guest.
is something. Yes, my wife thinks it's all candy, cotton candy.
Cotton candy.
It's all cotton
Do
candy.
you have any cotton candy?
No, but Dubai put some in the chocolate. I don't know. They got the Dubai chocolate. You seen that?
Is that what that is? Is cotton candy inside?
There was one I saw, but I'm not paying $15.
I've seen it's the newest craze. I've been wondering what the big deal is.
Maybe on
Like
the way.
what makes it different than normal chocolate?
Yeah, it's like some exotic flavors. Why? Why do you bring up? You been to the fair lately, or
It'd be nice if you had some snacks for your guests.
I would. I have beer. I ate all the chocolate covered almonds. Sometimes I bring oranges. Next time I'll
But they don't last.
they don't last. They get eaten. Next time I'll make sure you have something to snack on.
Much appreciated.
What do you like? What would you snack on? What would you actually eat here? We want to order something? Because we could do this a long time. We could order pizza.
Could be here all night.
We could. You never know.
No, I'm good. Thank you. Just messing with you.
So, yeah, it's all cotton candy. But yeah, it's a lot of work, right? So does this feel like work?
Well, I was trying to think when you invited me to join you on your podcast, what topics could we be talking about? Obviously, you want to create some good content, which makes people want to listen,
Yeah.
to give you more views and ultimately build your following. How's that going, by the way? You've been doing this for how long now?
It's been a little bit. More than a few months, I think.
Are you posting only on Facebook or what platforms?
I'm posting on all the platforms. It does good on some platforms. Facebook, it gets a little. I don't really know. I boosted it like with some money to get it in front of more people,
Mm-hmm.
and like all these people were like, "You're the devil. Stop! I don't want to buy your trash." And I was like, "Oh, I didn't know I was selling anything." I guess so I don't know what it's doing. But no, it's on TikTok. I think it has the most. It gets the most response on TikTok.
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh, but no, it goes out everywhere. If yeah, I mean, if you wanted, it's cool for like. You could set it up for a business model, right? Like it's a nice like marketing side. It doesn't have to be this content. It can be anything. And with Grok, I mean, you can make a freaking graphic in a second. I could literally schedule out like a year's worth of marketing for you for a really cheap price of all original content. Not complicated. But that's not the business I'm in right now.
Right.
But you let me know when you need content. You let me know.
I will let you know.
So what do you use it for? Because we're not. What do you use AI for mostly? I know we got Grok up. When you use ChatGPT.
Yeah, ChatGPT, again, basically the same thing as Grok. I use it more from a work perspective. They just rolled out Copilot at work, which is integrated into Microsoft. So like if I'm doing something,
Is that Bing? Because I use Bing. I use something through.
Bing they think they're done with Bing. So
Right.
it's all called Copilot.
Yeah, that's what I use that.
And
Well, I use that mostly before Grok.
so, I use a lot of spreadsheets for work,
Mm-hmm.
and I've gotten pretty good just through trial and error, Googling how to do stuff.
You have your master's in spreadsheets, basically.
Self-taught. No, they have legitimate like certifications. I've never gone through any of those. I opened a spreadsheet when I was in high school. Like, what is this? Like, type in numbers in random sheets to try to figure it out. And over time, I've just again figured like, hey, can it do this? Google. Oh, it can. Okay, figure out how to do it. And over time, just built up my knowledge base. There's still tons that I'm sure I don't know how to do, but over the past year since I've started using ChatGPT, I've like transformed a lot of my spreadsheets, and I look back at stuff I created even a year ago, and I'm like, the hell is this piece of garbage? Like I would do it so much differently now, like knowing what I know. And I'm constantly like revamping and upgrading the macros or the formulas to build in automation into my spreadsheets for eliminate human error, potential keystroke error, things like that. So I'll have my Excel spreadsheet on one side, ChatGPT on the other. I'll say, here's what I want it to do. Let's reference these cells, these columns, rows, whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm copying and pasting, moving things back and forth.
So you're taking the code, basically, right? Cut and pasting the code, more or less.
Yeah.
Formulas.
Formulas or macros, yeah. So now my IT department comes around. They're like, hey, you got to be careful with ChatGPT because if you're, and I've never done it, so we're clear in that standpoint. But like, if anything you copy and paste into ChatGPT or Grok or anything for that matter, like, it's out there. Then it's a learning software. It's a learning model. So
Yeah.
whatever. If I were to take like, hey, a table of client accounts, account numbers, names, balances, whatever it may be, and say, hey, I want to do something with this. That data is now out into the stratosphere, wherever it goes. So
Stratoverse.
So you got to be careful with data confidentiality. Like there's
If you're using
Bramley, Bliley Act, GLEBA, like non-public information, you can't. We got to be very careful about not disclosing any of that. So using a ChatGPT or any model,
yeah,
again, you don't know where it's gonna go.
Yeah.
Some other person may ask, hey, I'm trying to do something, and it can use that data to potentially create code for something else, and it could be dangerous. So he's like, hey, my IT guy's like, we just subscribed to Copilot. It's installed as part of our Microsoft Office environment. We're in the cloud, Microsoft 365.
Yep.
He's like, so it can. Microsoft, that was actually a major investor in, as far as I read up, in ChatGPT, in the underlying models that it works off of.
Like DALL-E, yeah, because that's why. That's the one I like. The DALL-E is the image one that Bing or Microsoft pulls through. That's pretty good.
So, if I'm asking Copilot something or asking ChatGPT, they're working off of the same models essentially. So it's like the data that it's working off of is just as good. So he's like, you try to use Copilot instead. But I've tried, and it's supposed to be integrated. So in Excel, I should be able to click on the Copilot button and say, hey, I want to do this, and it just doesn't. Maybe it's just I haven't given it a fair shot or learned how to use it as well. But the interface, the user, interaction with it just doesn't work
produce
as well as it seems like it would, based on the fact that it's integrated, right? So that's where my current level of
a lot of the systems in their proprietary attempts in their beta, they're not that great. Like, and I don't know, maybe I'm wrong too, but I try to use the Adobe, like the generative, and it just is not that. Like, you think it should be very easy with like text and things like that, like make it say this.
Like, in Microsoft Word, it's awesome. You can, if if I'm working on a policy or even writing an email to somebody and saying, I'll jot down what I want to say.
Yeah.
Am I, just rambling through, and then highlight it, say, help me rewrite this to sound more professional, or make it more succinct, or make it longer, or whatever you want, and then it'll give you 3 iterations of it, and I'm like, all right, this one sounds way better. That's what I meant to say. So it helps from that standpoint, but to take the time to, again, and over time, our kids are gonna be screwed.
Why?
Because we had to go through high school, had to go through college, write essays from scratch. And when I was in high school, I literally had a typewriter. I didn't.
Yeah, but
we didn't have a computer until I was a junior in high school. I had a literal typewriter that my aunt gave me, and that's how I wrote papers. So to go from that, every word I wrote, that was truly my own thoughts or based on research I did. Nowadays, again, I can write in a couple half-assed sentences, with the message I'm trying to convey, and then have it just rewrite it for me in a well-structured paragraph. And I didn't create that, and our kids are going to become dependent on that. they're not going to be able to create the well-structured paragraph on their own. I still could if I want to spend the time. I'm just becoming lazy, or I just have so much work that I'm trying to use it for efficiency, as everyone's saying, like AI is supposed to do it, help make things more efficient.
For sure.
But I feel like our kids, and I already see it with the younger generation. You know, I've got 6 nephews who are all, you know, high elementary grades through college.
Yeah.
And I hear them talking about like, oh yeah, I use this to help me with my math homework. It's like, okay, well, what did you learn out of it then, other than it just gave you the answer?
Yeah, but you know that there's a lot to be said about that, and how it like affects like what it means to be smart in language, and because it does write the well drafted paragraph, which is important to like a litigious society, like people that use a lot of language. But with video and audio and visuals, you could convey a lot more information with like a meme. So the meme is going to be the new standard of like didactic, like, you know what I mean? Because eventually it's just the most efficient, and efficiency kind of rules. So like, yeah, maybe not in our lifetime, but like ultimately, if we could just think at each other without having to make sounds, it's not that far, because they have the thing where you could do the typing and you can wear the headset and it can type for you, right? Well, if it could type for you, it could steer for you, but you don't have to touch it. So if you build like good neurosynapses and you're like a strong-willed, I don't know if any of that matters, you could essentially control things with your mind. I mean, it's out there, right?
But it's still ultimately based off of, even if I could think my thoughts to you without actually verbally saying them, the thoughts still have to have context for you to, like, there has to be a base that you and I both understand. A medium that we both understand, so that I can push my thoughts out to you, or whatever format it is, and you can then understand what that is. Right. So even if it's thoughts, if it's a meme, whatever, I mean, I get what you're saying, but the fact that AI is making this it's doing so much of the work for us now.
Yeah.
Without us really needing to know the details behind it.
Yeah.
I feel that's where the next generation is going to then ultimately, again, we're using it for fun, just to see, oh, what can it do? How can it help me be more efficient? Yeah. But if we didn't have it, we would just go on life as normal. I feel like the next generation is already becoming dependent on it, and you take it away from them and they're going to be set back. And I don't know how to, other than like restricting use.
Yeah.
Like, I can control it for my own kids. Like, hey, like, you don't get, like, restrict their technology use and say, hey, you have to do your math homework on paper. You have to figure it out for yourself. You have to write this. And not let them use that technology until they're old enough to then know the difference.
Well, the real benefit of the technology is it being able to expose vast amounts of information in a multitude of ways and in 3 dimensions now to kids. So that's just going to change. Like, if we wanted to know something, we had to read it, or it was like cartoon, right? 3D animation moving around space. Now it's synthesized so well, it's like indeterminable. So like when they put that headset on, what it's about doing, it's going to be about like, how good are you at like designing with light, or like it's going to be like the Matrix. You're going to be programmed. Like, it's not that far off. It'll just be normal. Instead of like sitting down and getting the fucking brochure and it taking you like 6 months to like be part of this business and be part of this thing that's being built, you're gonna be able to like sign up and like watch this like video and then like, you know, go be affiliated with this company now, or go, you know, it'll just be like an integration way. I don't think there'll be some crazy like change. You know what I mean? Like, everyone's always worried there's gonna be like this, it's gonna be the end of the world, but it's like, it's not.
No, I don't think it's going to be the end of the world. Again, as long as it's, and I don't see a way that it wouldn't be, but like, as long as it's always available going forward. What I was trying to say is, the younger generation that's growing up with this and depending on it, if they ever found themselves in a position where they didn't have access to it, they would not be able to operate. They may not be able to do things as well as they thought they could.
That's possible, yeah.
Right? Like,
Or, well, that just depends. Because it's going to lend you, if that's the case, what you thought you could do is going to be a little more primitive. It's going to be like, can you survive? And then it's going to be like, can you not be barbaric? And then can you not lose your mind? Because those are the main things. If you could survive and you're not going to be barbaric and you don't lose your mind, you can be a contribution. Because money's not real. Like the Great Depression wasn't a lack of material or everything was there, the infrastructure, but it was like a lack of mind in a way. It was like a lack of cooperation because of a fundamental snag in an abstraction. It's very convoluted, but it determines and dictates our world. Like it rules us in a way, or it did. And
yeah.
I think with the internet, maybe we can see past that. Like you could just still get in your truck and bring the gas if you needed to, I mean, why not? It sounds crazy. Who's going to pay me? Well, for now, nobody. Like, who's going to do that? Hopefully it's never necessary. I don't know.
Have you ever seen the show, what was it called? Who's it? Seth MacFarlane, the creative Family Guy?
Yeah.
He made it. He also made a show with it's like a space show. It starts with an O. Yeah, what's it called? The Orville. Have you ever seen that?
Nope.
Okay, similar like Star Trek kind of thing where they're on a spaceship and they're supposed to explore and find new worlds and all the adventures that they go on. But one of the things that they talk about is on the ship and like everywhere, technology has advanced to the point where they have synthesizers. So not digital synthesizers, but physical synthesizers. So it can create whatever you want out of matter. Like, hey, I need a thermos, and it'll just create one. I want a plate of pasta. I want a jacket. Whatever you need, anything you need, it can create it. And it converted society to like once you have that, you don't need money anymore. Money becomes irrelevant because you don't need to be able to buy stuff because things don't have value anymore because you can create it whenever you want.
Right. Yeah.
And when they were like,
that's
and
pretty cool.
It touched on that topic in one of their episodes where, again, they found a new world that was a couple centuries behind us. Like they were like in like the 1900s, so that
they weren't that far. That's funny.
Or like they were like,
yeah,
they were at the point where they were discovering space exploration, but like not as advanced as they were in the show. So that's, they have rules that they can't communicate with the planet until they've reached that point by themselves, because historically they destroyed the civilizations. But they were just touching on this, like how do you guys do this? How do you do that?
This show sounds awesome. Can I tell you? I don't know why. What is it on?
I forget.
Is it
I think
Netflix?
it was on Hulu.
Okay, yeah, probably Hulu, right? It's got to be Hulu. It's
They-
Seth MacFarlane. That's his.
I found I've only watched it through the third season. I think there's a fourth out right now. But it's a comedy. It's they make light of like the Star Trek, but
Yeah,
it's got some stupid connotations to it, but like they're just because they're trying to drive a point on it, and
Yeah.
they just like they have a simulator where you can go in and you can, especially living on a ship, if you're an officer on the ship and you're married with kids, like your wife and kids would be on the ship too, but for them it's just normal life. That's
Yeah.
they need to live out their life, but they're stuck on a ship, so they have these simulators to help you acclimate to be like, I want to pretend I'm walking through a park, or I want to be playing a game of football, and like all these simulations. And then on one of them, one guy was using it for porn.
yo, that's.
And then of course the
That's gonna be a big
porn had a
problem.
virus and it hacked the whole ship. Like they just they just make it like above and beyond. But it's stupid and funny. But some of the things make you think. Like again, that whole synthesizer concept. Like if we ever get to that point, and that can become a real technology,
yeah,
that literally would transform our civilization.
yeah, oh yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't.
You'd have to put a value on building the synthesizer, but again, everything you need, once you have a blueprint or once you have a diagram of how to build this, how this technology works, and you can create them and just start synthesizing whatever you want.
Like Cloudy with the Chance of Meatballs.
Again,
Well,
you could end world hunger. You could end.
It's been science fiction usually, or in The Simpsons, or both before it happens. You probably could, but then it's like then what do you do with your time? How do you live? How do you spend it? What gives you gratification? And then like what's
Exactly.
fun?
People that society then just needs to focus on what to do for self gratification, because you don't need there's no need to do the work to build up your life, because anything you need can be created,
Right.
and everyone can just pursue their passions. Cool concept.
Yeah.
And obviously at that point then there's
I feel like the passions will, like, it seems like the passions are kind of superficial. The passions are like, this is one of them, like thespianism. Like, it's a show. Like, that's a passion, like drawing,
what was
painting,
it?
like thespianism.
Thespianism?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
You're not Thesbo? You are today. Welcome, sir.
I don't know if I am.
Or should I say shim?
Shim?
Yeah. Behind the cabinet. I don't even know what you're saying. Yeah. I think eventually all science fiction is going to play itself. I mean,
It's only a matter of time.
it's like it comes down to like what, I mean, who knows? I wonder how fast it'll happen. Like, what does it mean? Doesn't mean anything, right? Like, why do we have the pursuit of this? Like, we're going to all want to be like, feel good, right? Everything will be available. Like, what do you want?
Mhm.
So if the passions die down, like, I think like they'll feel like now it's like if somebody sings, it's like, oh my God, they sing. They're from God. They can draw. They're from God. They're from the, from their religion, or their Buddha, or they're like this one thing. But it's like, it's the opposite of that. It's like, no. Like, if you have everything, the only thing worth having is the doing. And then it's like, well, then wouldn't everybody just be like singing together and like painting together and like working together? Because, well, then you say they do. They build a society and they build houses and they paint. It's like, isn't it what we do? Like, we just find these moments of kind of like cooperation.
Mm-hmm.
And then for whatever reason, it falls apart and we're left with like the remnants of really great beginnings for a lot of things that get carried but haven't been implemented for like a long time. Like, how do you get away from using cars? Like, that invention is going to be here for a while. Like, it's not a house. It's not a horse.
This is true.
Something in between. It's like, how do you move past? You got to carry the old stuff. Like you said, they wouldn't have the ability, our kids, to maybe do some things. But then back to that point, it's like they become more in tune because they have to. They would lose. They would know. Maybe they lose the calendar. Maybe they have to recalibrate the calendar. Maybe, there's certain things. You got to watch the moon. You got to, like, on my window, I look in the morning. I wake up, I go outside sometimes in the morning around the same time. And you'll notice if you look at the same time where the sun is, and it changes. And if it's a picture window, it's very easy to notice the movement where, okay, the winter comes, like you tip away and you tip closer in the summer. So, like, all that sort of like understanding that's built into like all the animals, like they all know, like the animals know. And that's like sanity. Like, that level of understanding, I'm going to contribute to sanity. And if you don't have it, it doesn't mean you're crazy. It just means you're not sane, I guess. You don't really have those fundamental skill sets.
Okay.
You wouldn't survive. But those are the important things that we should always be preserving and protecting and promoting for our kids. And I think it'll go there,
No, but I think you're right on on the comment about science fiction movies are all, moving toward reality. Uh, I don't know how many movies have been created so far about it, about like artificial or droids or robots like becoming self-aware or like turning on humanity.
Yeah.
Um, Same show, one of the characters is a droid, a robot that comes from a planet that's all robots, and their history is that they were created to be servants for some sort of biological of mankind,
Mm-hmm.
and they eventually became so smart that they became self-aware, and there was a revolution. They killed off all mankind on that planet and just built more of themselves, and that they were like the most advanced civilization
Fully
in the
mechanical,
universe.
conscious.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
what is okay? You got Grok, your artificial technology. What else is Elon Musk creating through Tesla? He's got a robot. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Okay. Put Grok into that thing. So now it's a robot that can fully function, move around, and it's got the capacity for artificial intelligence. So at what point in our future does this artificial intelligence become self-aware, and now we're doing the same thing?
Well, how do we handle self-awareness? What degree do we have self-awareness, and then how do we handle it?
I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, we're self-aware, but we are already the leading, or not the leading, the humankind of all this species on planet Earth is taken over as the top of the food chain or the top of the ladder, right? So
Yeah.
because of our self-awareness and our intellect over any other animal.
Yeah.
So it just takes something more powerful than us, and we are actively working on creating that as a society.
Well, we're always more powerful together. And it's kind of like it's like a distillation of the world. It's like a twice removed, right? It's like an abstraction of an abstraction. Because we're recreating the world digitally, for sure, on Google Maps. Eventually, see, what I think will happen is that eventually there will be a digital representation of the Earth, like a digital blockchain that is the Earth. And it will be the most recent 3D timestamp of whatever imagery is most readily available, which we already have.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll be able to just walk around, which you probably already can. You can probably just put goggles on and walk around outside. And but now what you do is you have whoever owns that or whatever platform or universe you're in. There's ways that you could, if you're going to exist in there, who owns the store? Well, probably the store owner should own that store, the digital one, at least if it's like the one in the major blockchain, like whatever the big one is, because it could be just a live representation of their store, 3D physically and everything, and you can go in digitally or physically and be a robot or a person, right? Like that allows for this 2D, 3D AR assimilation.
So you're saying instead of like a Roblox universe or a meta universe where it's all new or created at will
Yeah.
by the end user, you're recreating the actual Earth in a digital format to be able to.
Yeah. That's what you want. That's a real coin because you want to represent reality. You don't want Picasso. You want Caravaggio. You want realism. You want hyper-realism.
Yeah.
And so then it allows you to it allows you to do a lot of things, which might be what is happening. I mean, that's what it seems like is happening. Or could be.
I could see that being a concept.
There's another way into it that I want to talk to you about too. Oh, so there's two things. This I'm really interested in, and maybe other people are working on it. But if you're using formulas and you're using Grok to give you formulas from Excel, right? A lot of software will auto-generate formulas, right? Or a spreadsheet, maybe that doesn't have formulas, okay? But you could like, if the spreadsheet is consistent and you know exactly what it's going to be, because of formulas, you could, like with Python, have it open up and then automatically run formulas on certain cells.
Mhm.
And they could be like on and off, right? So what I want to be able to do is this, like, all right, this is the image of like the empty shopping cart. We'll call it a shopping cart. And you get an order and it's like apples, bananas, and pears, right? But it comes in a CSV and it's like banana, it's got its SKU, it's $5. So then it says like taxes and everything. Now, I create a graphic that's a banana. We have a numerical reference. Now, every time someone places an order, when you look at it, you don't look at the CSV. You look at vectors of like, this is your order. And it's like a re-representation visually with numbers. So it's like a meme of the basically the visual information, which is a rendition of the formulas, right? Which is coding, essentially. It's coding that's
Sure.
making it palatable for us. So let's make it more palatable for us. Let's make it art, right? Because we're supposed to be celebrating our passions now that we have all this technology, which will make it a lot easier to understand. So I was wanting to do that to test it, not for a shopping cart, but for a situation that I have. Because every morning I go, I look at these numbers, I have to write up like a report, then I follow that. Whereas like if I could get a visual representation of it instantly, it would save me a lot of time.
I'm sure that could be created with what we already have now.
I want to do it with you. We
Let's do
should
it.
try it.
Yeah.
Because
it's all just like you said, it's all just coding.
Yeah. And if we can do it, we could sell it. I know who would buy it. Because it's usable.
Yeah.
It would be like a patch for software that I'm already in. So they could implement it if they wanted or buy it.
Yeah, let's take that offline and we can work through it.
Well, that's being able to do it, I'm sure people can, and I'm sure they do. So knowing about it is not the issue. It's having the knowledge. But I think we could. And that's what makes me get into the 3D realm. That I want to talk with you definitely about offline. Because I think that's really cool. And maybe we'll talk about it on here, but I don't know what I'm talking about, and I don't want to like spread ideas about how things work and them just be entirely wrong. I know this is already wrong, but anyways, it's fun. I don't know. It gets me excited.
Yeah, I've got a lot of ideas of things I'd like to do, and you said earlier, a lot of my mind goes around work, but because my mind, knowing how much work I usually have to do, always looking for ways to make things more efficient or more valuable or more useful. So removing the time it takes to manually create things or just update things, and leveraging that same amount of time to evaluate the output instead, just reducing the time it takes so I can do other things and just become more efficient. I've got like a whole backlog or a whole like list of like back burner projects. So, what I do for work, I've got busy times and kind of less busy times, kind of pretty cyclical. There's usually like middle of the month is usually a little on the not as busy side or right before a month end. So that's when I'll like reference my list and say, okay, what do I think I can accomplish in the next, 1 or 2 next 4 hours, or depending how much time I have.
For sure.
I've got a lot of half started projects, a lot that I haven't even touched, but like I know what I want to do. But again, as I work through each one, I'm leveraging AI to help me figure it out, and that's where I may learn a new skill set or something new about how it told me to do something. Because again, I'm not just taking the information and just copying and pasting. I'm trying to understand it.
Right.
And even if it gives me a code that's like 3 pages long and I only learn what one of the lines is doing, I now know that it can be done, and I figure out, okay, what part of the code is doing what I want it to do, and extracting it and then leveraging that for future things. So
yeah,
there's again, that list of projects or stuff that I don't even know where to start. I just know what I want the end product to be.
well, that's how this started.
But as I'm working through other stuff, I'm building up the ideas of like, okay, maybe I can approach it from this angle, or maybe I could try doing this with it,
Yeah.
or maybe my original idea like doesn't make sense anymore now that I know about something else, but I could do something else with it. So I'm always playing around with that kind of stuff. And when I'm at work, I, I tend to go down these rabbit holes on when I get into a project, like I get into it, and I'll emerge at the end of the day and like my email inbox is like 120 unread emails. I'm ignoring phone calls. I'm like I'll call them back later unless it's urgent. Like
Yeah.
and then it's just a matter of playing catch up for normal stuff. But
Yeah.
I tend to go down these rabbit holes, and it's like I want to just keep figuring things out, and I get lost in this zone.
Yeah. Well, that's where you make the best progress.
It's called flow.
Flow. You get in your flow state.
Once you get into the state of flow, yeah, you're working at your optimum self, your best version of yourself, and just doing what you truly enjoy. Like I enjoy playing with spreadsheets. Like I enjoy like figuring things out like that, and it's not for everyone, but the end product may take me a full work day, 8 hours, or like spread out over a whole week, 2 hours a day.
Yeah.
And the end result is that I now have a tool that I can push out for the rest of my team that I know they can't screw up.
Yep.
And is gonna do exactly what I want it to do, even if I'm not the one doing it. And it may save them 20 minutes a day. Okay, that 20 minutes a day
Across the whole team on a day. Right.
I'll recover that time in a month, and then thereafter they now are more efficient to do other things for those 20 minutes. And if I can do that across X
the factor.
different duties, it's again just making us all more efficient and the ability to keep doing other things.
Yeah. The AI does that. Like, it helps things be like super efficient if you're using it, right? Like the software. Every software, Airbnb, whatever you're using, any sort of like, everyone's in software for work. What software are you in? For design? What software are you in? Broadcasting? What software are you, right? You're always in software.
Sure.
So having the software that, I mean, I guess that you can optimize. There's like banking software, for instance. I don't know much about it. Like I use QuickBooks or whatever, right? But I know like there's some banking software that's like just as robust as QuickBooks. Like you're better off not even using QuickBooks, and it's free. And it's like built into like your
You're talking like bookkeeping software.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and they'll write you checks. Like you could write digital checks, and they'll mail physical checks for you for like free, or like certain things like that. And those are like huge cost savers, huge benefits. Like, and it's kind of like taken for granted. Like every bank has to have it, but it's like every bank has to buy like a form of QuickBooks that they offer. Like, and they probably do. Like they do because everyone's doing it. Like Harris Bank does. And I just wonder, like, I think having the certain softwares around and building systems kind of give you freedom and people freedom with less mistakes, right?
Right.
And the people that like, I don't think AI is bad, because I think the people like you are people in positions where it's going to allow them to just be more organized and see more clearly. Like that's what I think it comes down. It's like seeing more clearly, less confusion, right? Less mistakes.
Yeah. I'm not saying AI is bad. Again, all I was saying is our generation understands the value of it because we've come up not having it and seeing the benefits of how much more efficient or how much it can improve things.
Yes.
It's the next generation who's growing up with it that's not going to know the difference.
They're going to take it for granted.
Exactly.
And
which I'm sure there's things that we've taken for granted that our parents' generations.
So we got to take them out. We got to take them camping. We got to show them how to hunt, right? That's why you kind of got to be a wilderness person. You got to cultivate that. It's got to be like a part of the. It's not about going to Indian guides just because it's fun to mess around in the woods while your dad's play cards or something. It's about learning. It's about survival skills.
Yeah.
I don't have any.
I'd be equally screwed.
I had Uncle Bobby came here. He's going to teach me how to live in the wild.
Okay.
Well, he, I like to hunt. I talked to somebody else too. They said they might take me. They have some space, but I want to go. I'm like, because I feel vulnerable. Like what compels me as an adult with children, as it's just like what is going to suppress my feelings of vulnerability. And at the same time, it's also interesting, but that's like, I feel like the factor that actually is driving it, that maybe is like a hard to acknowledge sometimes, but it probably is. Like, I really want to know, like I'm very interested to know how to hunt and kill an animal and then prepare it. I just think it's like a great skill to have.
It absolutely is, because you are ensuring your ability to survive in a scenario where you were out in the wild, or if our society collapsed as it is, like what would we do? There's people who are prepared, people who, doomsday scenario kind of people who probably have like panic rooms in their houses. They got a full stock of food and water. And then there's the people that run out and clear the shelves of all the toilet paper as soon as something happens. And it's like, okay, the people that don't plan ahead because they don't anticipate or don't think like it would ever happen are the ones that are going to be left out. And unless they have survival skills or backup plans, like, and that's, I would imagine, a large percentage of population. Yeah. I know I'm probably in that group.
Yeah, they don't. Well, it's funny because like those skills used to be so not readily, they were forced down your throat when you were little, those skills.
I feel like our parents' generation was one of the last generations where it was forced, though. Yes. Like, again, I don't feel like I was raised in a way where I can.
But a lot of the skills were specific to your family, specific to your heritage, your culture. Like it wasn't so broad. But now it's everything. Like now the skill set is like, now it's not forced down your throat, so you don't have to know how to do something proficiently. But you can know how to do anything exquisitely if you want to. For the most part.
That's a fair statement. Yeah.
For the most part. I mean, now that's debatable, right? I mean, obviously. Is making a basket exquisite, like shooting a basketball? And some people are going to say, well, they try their whole life and blah, blah, blah. They never make it. And Tiny Tim didn't have what it takes to win, take home the trophy.
No, but so that's a practiced skill set, right? Like being able to shoot a basket. Okay, hunting is a practiced skill set, but there's still instructions that come along with it on how to go about learning that skill set, which, to your point, can be exquisitely detailed by any AI nowadays, or the information is readily available if you want to learn how. You still need to practice on doing it and how to do it. Like, I mean, you can download a recipe on how to cook quiche or whatever kind of recipe.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you're going to make it well the first time.
Right.
Like, you got to practice a couple times, because you may burn whatever you're doing. You might put the wrong amount, or you bought the wrong ingredients. Like, but the information is there. Versus if someone asked you to make a cake for them, like, okay, you're gonna guess how much flour, eggs, do you need butter, do you need this,
right?
Like,
yeah, it's a dialed in thing.
It's the information is being given to you, you just need to execute it.
Yeah it brings me back to full circle to thinking about AI, and then just thinking like, well, you can have an arm that'll make it for you. It just always brings, and then it'll be Gordon Ramsay's hand, and the groceries will be delivered with drones. It's just so easy.
That's already happening.
I know, it's so easy to imagine into it. It's very compelling. It is kind of scary because I think once you have kids, you feel a level of vulnerability. That like, oh, it doesn't matter. Like, nothing's gonna fix you. Like, you're fucked forever.
Like fix you as yourself?
Yes.
Okay.
Like, you have a person with another person, all right? And now it doesn't matter. Like, the feelings of vulnerability are outside of your control. They're outside of your person. Objective statement. Right?
Yeah.
They are. So you feel this level of vulnerability, and I feel like it makes it almost necessary feeling to be like, well, just go all in. Like, what else? I mean, I can't feel any more and be awake than this and all this possibilities, right? And I could think myself into all types of ideas you probably don't need to, right? If you have kids. And taking little steps to not feel vulnerable, I feel like are a big part of like adulthood. Like you kind of like recapture this vulnerability that you kind of shed as maybe hopefully as like in a maybe like in a young adult.
I think that's maturity, where you start to recognize the vulnerabilities and the areas where you feel you need to improve to be able to provide for your kids. Right? If you're just taking care of yourself, like, I mean, you've survived this long, you've got your life established. It is what it is. But knowing that now there's others that are dependent on you, and you you recognize that, to your point, and like, okay, well, what has this happened to me? That's a vulnerability, right? How would I go about uh fix, fixing or addressing that issue so that if it did happen, my kids would be okay,
Yeah.
or I would be okay, so that I could still be there for my kids. And I think that's, yeah, to your point, like having kids is a huge kick in the ass to move you, to force you to think that way.
Yeah. I think it's too, it's like it goes back to like a statement on the mental health. Like it does force you to kind of move into like a vulnerable place. And then if you, well, I don't know exactly where I'm going with it, but when you do get into like a vulnerable feeling, it's as an adult, I feel like the wise thing to do or the smart thing to do is to embrace it, right? So like if I'm feeling vulnerable, I feel like I don't have control. What if these things happen? I feel like talking about them and like saying like this is my trigger and then like saying I need to avoid my triggers is like the problem with the mental health. And I think the important thing is like, oh, these are my triggers. It's okay to have triggers. It's okay to be upset by things where people, but like, how am I going to mitigate my feelings of vulnerability? Like, how can I understand myself ahead of myself to know how I might feel to be prepared in future situations of vulnerability? And I think as an adult, doing things like that can be fun. Like I had Colin on here and he does things like I had health stuff where I couldn't, I had a hard time driving. He does things, but like he was saying, it's fun. Like it's so exciting. It's not like a degradation to your character or your life. Whereas a lot of mental health stigmas become that for people, or alcohol stigmas, drug stigmas, or whatever the stigmas are that we put down as a society, sexual stigmas and things like that. But you're supposed to, like, that's the journey. It's like finding those stigmas maybe for you that are still around, and then like making them fun and going into the wilderness. Me, in my case, I would say actually for an adventure, like an actual adventure, like out in the woods. And that sounds like such a good thing. I don't know why. It just sounds so wholesome and fun. It just does. Does it not? I don't know.
Not to me, but
I know
each their own, right?
I haven't been able to get you to come up in the morning. I'm up in the morning. So for me it's like it's just a guilt trip if you don't show up. But but no, I'm glad to hear that. I find it very pushing. What do you find? Is there anything now that you feel that makes you feel vulnerable that maybe do you agree with what I'm saying at all? Do you think I'm wrong?
No, I don't think you're wrong. I think everyone just recognizes different vulnerabilities of what, for me, it's, I don't know if you'd categorize this as like a vulnerability, but what's constantly in the back of my mind, especially since having kids, is making sure that they're provided for, right? And that's, as a father, this may be the old school mentality, but it's like the nuclear family, where I feel like as a father, I it's my duty, my responsibility to be the provider for the family, to make sure that they're provided for, that they have everything they need to grow up, to be healthy, to be able to get an education, to to do all that. And that's it's a huge weight on most people's shoulders to be able to do that, to provide for their families. And again, God forbid something happened to me, what would be left? What would they do if
Yeah. How would
something
they
happened to me?
manage? Right. And you want to make sure that's all satisfied,
Right.
at least for your own
Peace of mind and
sleep.
yeah, exactly. So that's what's been on my mind lately.
So it's basically work, right? You probably get a lot out of work and doing those things. And you said you find your flow state. Now, if you're doing that at work, then that's what there is, right?
Right, but work's only going to take you so far. I
Yeah.
mean,
You're right.
it's there's two ways to look at it. And yeah, I enjoy what I do for work. So I get into my, there's every I feel like every job is going to have its pros and cons. There's things you enjoy, there's things you don't enjoy as much, but for the most part, yeah, I enjoy what I do. And but there's some people who just do whatever work they can, just again to be able to have an income, to be able to provide for themselves, for their families. And not everyone gets to do what they enjoy. Not everyone has the opportunities to develop the skill set to do something that makes money to provide. And ultimately, it's again, until we have those synthesizers, it's all it comes down to having an income sufficient to provide for your well-being, for your family, and moving forward.
Do you think there will be like some basic income rolled out in the near future because of that? Because before you answer, like, I mean, you want what you have, what people see. You want what you see, You want a nice house. It doesn't have to be a huge house, but whatever. But no one wants to live in poverty, and I don't know what the rates are on poverty. But like, because it's so readily available to everybody's mind, why would they feel like they don't deserve that or shouldn't have at least what they see? So I just wonder, like.
So are you saying like basic income provided by the government?
Yeah.
I mean, you're basically talking like communism or socialism.
I mean, is there a way around it?
I don't know.
I mean, is the way around it like wild AI West? Like, what's the way? I mean, or is it, do we have a communism, socialism sort of thing that we just ignore? Are we run by aliens? And if we went all the way too deep, then we would. Is the pill under the pyramid really the holy grail? No,
I don't know, but can we take a quick pause?
Sure.
Need a bathroom break.
Go ahead. I'm just going to let it run. I'm going to look up. So there's this pill. Did you hear about this under the pyramid?
I have not.
All right. I'm going to bring it up. And then when you get back, we'll talk about it. Pill under the pyramid. Okay. Let's see how good I am with DuckDuckGo. All right. Supposedly there is like a vessel underneath. So let's make sure you guys can see. Of course. So underneath, what was found under the pyramids? Most recent findings. I thought there was a metal object, in my mind, there's like a seed of like pure tungsten or something like that, like the center of mass. I don't know. I just make things up. But I thought there was something. Let's see. Images. Yeah, they think it's a lot of different things. I think it's a powerhouse, cylindrical structure, scans. What is it made out of? What are the columns? Use Louise. Structures underneath the pyramids of Giza. Geologists uncover groundbreaking evidence. So the AI is saying it's still speculative. Columns beneath the pyramids of Giza, however, these claims have been met with skepticism, and no definitive evidence has confirmed the materials or existence of these columns. I was wondering what it would be. So it's still supposedly speculative, at least according to DuckDuckGo. I mean, what are the scans? Let's see, what are the scans? What are the scans that determined there were columns under the Pyramid of Giza? What are the scans that determine? Let's see. Ground penetrating radar. So you have seen the scans, right? Or about the scans?
I know nothing about what you're talking about here.
So you haven't seen any of this stuff under the pyramid?
No, has it been out for a while? Am I like living under a rock?
You're living under a rock.
Okay.
This has definitely been out for a while. This is all the Grok and Chat GPT you can do about it. But supposedly there's columns made out of granite or something, and they go well beneath the Pyramid of Giza, and they are some infrastructure. And I thought, for hearing somewhere along the lines, there was maybe in the chamber there's a sarcophagus or whatever it's called, and in there is like an object of substantial mass. How they determine that, I don't know. That's what I'm trying.
And that's what they're calling the pill?
No, I'm making that up. This is my dreams. These are my dreams here. But recent studies have used advanced technologies like ground penetrating radar and synthetic aperture radar to investigate the area beneath the pyramids of Giza. However, claims about discovering columns or an underground city have been met with skepticism from experts, emphasizing the need for further verification through excavation. We're digging up the pyramids. It's about time. You didn't hear any of this?
No.
Oh my gosh. Are you amazed? I'm so glad to be your first person to hear it with.
You popped my pyramid column cherry.
Yep. Turns your brown eye blue. That eye floating above the pyramid. Poke that motherfucker. All right, but no, so yeah. Supposedly.
But yeah, to your point, the only way for them to verify, as they're saying, is to literally excavate and
fuck it up. Do it.
and go on.
Sorry, I should talk more better.
More better.
With all the people. Yes. What do you think?
I mean, it's basically reverse engineering. I mean, we know how the pyramids were built. There's always a conspiracy theorist that there was aliens.
We know how they were built. How were they built? Slaves?
Yeah.
You're convinced? You're good with that?
Yeah. Enough slaves and enough time. You got logs to roll rocks up slight inclines and slowly build it up.
You have not watched enough Graham Hancock. Have you?
I don't know what that is, so no, I
That-
have not. Is this a conspiracy theorist?
Listen, your history is outdated. You got to get on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
Get the newest program for the Matrix.
What am I missing?
Well, supposedly there was an ancient prehistoric civilization. That's a theory. And like the pyramid is set.
It had more advanced technology to be able to do something like this.
Yeah. That's the thought.
And what happened to that technology?
It's either lost or it operates in ways we don't understand and we can't see it or something. I don't know. Probably it was lost. I mean, I don't know. Look, this doesn't look like it's in its prime. I mean,
Of course not. I mean, how old are these pyramids?
let's see. How old are the pyramids? I know we're supposed to ask Grok, but we're asking Go. DuckDuckGo. How old are the... I want to say they think they're around like 10,000 years old. And it's supposedly it's way older than that. 4,700 years ago. 4,500 years ago.
Okay, so they're a little roughed up on the outside, but considering they're still standing, I think they did a pretty good job building them, right?
Yeah. But there's theories that they're like way older. Well, there's the conspiracy theories about like, okay, was sound used? And they show like bits of granite that's appear to be like scooped up by hand. And these are in like the documentaries. Let's see if I could.
You got to fix that search.
I don't know. I'm not the best Google searcher. Scoop of granite by hand is not bringing up what I want. Hold on.
Is that how you spell scoop?
O-U-P. Scoop. It looks funny, but. So there's like these markings around like semi-excavated structures. Like this. This obelisk. And I believe that it's this location where there is a picture of a hand that's just, or like, it appears to be like just scooped. Like there's finger traces.
Well, I mean,
I think it's like pretty well. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought like the majority of people just assumed that it was not built by slaves, and we don't know how it was built anymore. But like like I don't know how to say these words right. I'm just gonna say syllables that sound.
There, scoop, 2 O's, not. I knew
What
it
did I
didn't look right.
Oh, poop.
I still get the same results. But I mean, there's evidence through art and sculptures of solid granite or marble that's been chiseled to have the smoothest of flows and look like it's a fabric.
Yeah.
So why couldn't it just been something that was chiseled and looks like it was hand scooped?
It very well could. It could be somebody that just said, "Hey, I'm feeling artistic today, and I want to celebrate in this way."
And just started taking a hammer chisel.
And just made it look like a hand scoop.
I mean,
could.
What else was there to do back then?
I don't know. I mean, if you did that today, you'd be revered as a great artist. Maybe no one gave a shit back then because they were all great artists.
That was the norm.
Maybe everyone got to be pharaoh. I don't know. That's weird. It's a weird scenario. I mean, who knows where that. Nobody knows. We're never gonna know. But maybe AI will figure it out. There's definitely something with sound and electricity and relativity that we just don't quite know how to manipulate yet. It seems like it's there. Like we notice this metaphysics and this magic of some just like calculated, hyper calculated results. And like as we start playing with that more and more, we'll be able to manipulate things metaphysically with material and have like hyper efficient things. I mean, it's just
Wait, so the conspiracy theory is that, again, it was not built by slaves, as history has taught us, and that there was some sort of advanced technology using sound.
well, sound is a huge theory. Yes, there's a big theory around sound to create the pyramids, move blocks, fracture things. Sound or resonance or vibration,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like I don't know if there's a sound, if there was a way to increase the speed of sound and you increased it 1,000-fold, it would be moving at the speed of light. Would it change from a noise to a light? Like, I mean, how does that work?
Beyond my depth here.
Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna have to ask Neil deGrasse Tyson how that plays out. But
Well, not at least in our current state of technology, nothing that we've been able to create can reach the speed of light physically.
except light, we would
Except
just
light
make a
itself.
fire. But right, we're not like harnessing the.
We have not been able to create anything to travel at the speed of light, like to be able to transport
Well, light.
ourselves or anything else.
So light probably moves through space very efficiently, empty space, whereas material doesn't. At certain degrees, right? It starts hitting too much material. It has to break through the sound barrier, right? Like it gets hung up on like very
Mm-hmm.
airy particulates, right? I mean, more or less, air is
Molecules,
we don't consider it being dense, but it must be pretty dense. If
Well,
that's the
depends on what-
case,
I mean, obviously in our atmosphere, there's air molecules. Once you go out into space, there's a lot less, but there's still molecules out in space, hydrogen, random oxygen molecules that are just not concentrated, not being pulled together by gravity like we have on our planet.
yeah. Well, if light moves efficiently through air, that's for sure. More efficiently than material because it doesn't get hung up and it moves as fast as it does.
So the speed of light is 186,282 miles per second.
Miles per hour. It's about 1,000 times the speed of sound, I think. What is the mph on the speed of light? So I did a comparison one time with the speed of light and the speed of sound because I was very interested by the question. See, it's about 7 million miles an hour, and the speed of sound is about 700 miles an hour. The thing with Google is like you don't really have to be that good at even talking for it to give you the fucking answer. Or talking in a language. The speed of sound is approximately 7. Yes. So it's a million. This is 700. It's a million times. Right? Because it's 700. It was 670 million. Right? So it's about a million times faster, not 1,000. Yes. It's close to a million times faster. So what does that mean? I'd like to get into this with you. What does that mean? Does it mean it's a million more oscillations? To the degree of a million more oscillations, I should say.
No, I don't think so. The oscillations it dictates the frequency of what you're seeing. I mean, when you're talking about light, you're talking about the electromagnetic spectrum.
Yep, that's right.
So you've got gamma rays all the way up to microwaves.
Okay.
Gamma waves are the longest waves, and I mean again, I'm not a physicist or astrophysicist to be able to tell you the specifics, but that's the low end of the spectrum as far as like the width.
Color-wise, that's red.
No.
Red is also the low end of the spectrum.
I'm also colorblind, but the low end of the visible spectrum
Is the
is
slow end. The wide end is red.
yes, of the visible. So again,
Visible,
there's this
yes.
whole spectrum there, and we can only see a tiny fraction of it. And
Right.
yes, you've got red, and right below that is infrared.
Yep.
And then I don't know if there's gamma's the lowest one, the longest wave. Then on the high end you go whether Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Then you've got ultraviolet, X-ray, microwave X-ray. I forget the
Okay, here.
order.
Well, yeah, no, this is. You got infrared, then you got microwave, then you got radar, then you got radio,
Yep.
then broadcast band.
Yeah, so we are the little tiny slice is what we can perceive with our eyes. And then there's all those other ones on both sides that we can't physically see, but we can pick up with different sensors or technology. Like infrared,
Yeah,
we can feel the heat.
right,
Can't see it.
right. Supposedly. No, right.
Well,
You could-
again,
right.
we can see with technology. We've created cameras that can
They
register infrared light.
heat signatures for sure.
Right.
That's what the pyramid looked like. I know it's not. So wait, what is the pyramid looking with? Microwaves, radar, and radio? Let's see.
They have to be going through with
Broadband, broadcast.
probably it's got to be on the lower end. It's got to be X-ray or I mean,
Try radio. As long as it'll penetrate material. It's weird because it kind of seems like everything that's not natural light. Like at what speed can you not penetrate material?
depends on the material, because again, it's each of these different types of wavelengths, depending on what they're trying to travel through, the height or the width of their wavelength dictates how they can penetrate. So like microwaves, for example,
Yeah.
everyone's got a microwave oven in their almost everyone has a microwave oven in their house.
Right.
The screen of it, the window to be able to look inside, has that little screen with all the dots.
Right.
The dots, you can physically see through them, but the microwave itself cannot pass through it based on the size of the microwaves that are being created to cook the food. But those waves are able to go through your food,
Right.
speeding up the
Molecules of the food.
molecules, which is what heats it up, right? Or
Right.
cooks it.
Yes. Pyramids were scanned using advanced non-invasive techniques, primarily moonotomography. What the hell is that? Utilizes cosmic rays.
So that was a far left.
Cosmic rays. Muon tomography. What is muon tomography? We're going to get some definitions out today. What is muon tomography? Muon tomography, or muography, is a technique that uses cosmic ray muons to generate 2 or 3-dimensional images of volumes using information contained in the Coulomb scattering of muons. Since muons are much more deeply penetrating than X-rays, muon tomography can be used to image through much thicker materials than X-rays based on tomography, such as CT scanning. The muon flux at the Earth's surface is such that a single muon passes through an area the size of a human hand per second.
Okay, so that's a pretty big wavelength.
Yeah. And it is a CT scan? Is it CT scanning? Is CT scanning muon tomography? All right, let's see. One on the spectrum.
Apparently, they're related in concept, but not the same thing. CT scanning is X-ray computed tomography. So CT scanning is still an X-ray.
Okay. One is an elementary particle similar to the electron with an electric charge of -1 e and a spin of 1/2 backwards n, but with much greater mass. It is classified as a lepton. As with other leptons, the muon. Listen, what was that video you were watching? What was the name of the show? Jeez. The muon is
Yeah, so this is the kind of stuff, again,
the muon is an unstable subatomic particle with a mean lifetime of 2. Wow, so you're like getting into metaphysics where things are just popping in and out of existence? I don't even know. That's probably wrong. Providing few kinetic degrees of freedom and decay. Okay. Look up muon on your own time if you're watching this. So,
or if you're a physicist and can help explain this.
yeah, maybe someone wants to explain a muon a little better. Neil, he can. I want to go back to the light spectrum.
So that was one of the shows that he did, Neil deGrasse Tyson, talking about the electromagnetic spectrum, explaining how how the spectrum was discovered and then taken. I think he said Newton discovered the visible light spectrum, that there's different colors, by shining a light through a prism.
Yep.
And then from another prism, recombining them back to a white light. And then I forget who, but there was someone else that was then discovered infrared purely by accident.
Seems like you would have to be.
And then from there, realizing that the spectrum was bigger than what we could see. So they were testing the temperatures of each of the visible light colors. So red, orange, yellow, like he had a thermometer.
Yes.
He had a beam of light coming through a window, closing off everything else for darkness, having it go through a prism, and then the lights shined onto the table. And in each of the colors, place a thermometer to test the temperatures.
Newton did this?
No. So Newton discovered the prism.
Yeah. Who did this?
Google it or look it up because I forget.
Tested.
Who discovered infrared?
Same person.
But either way, he had a thermometer in each of the colors.
Okay.
And then he had one off to the side.
William Herschel.
Yep.
Is this Hershey's chocolate? Okay. All right. I got you. So he temperature read. Here.
And then he had one off to the side as a control, like of the normal room temperature. But then he happened to have it next to the red side and saw that it was registering way warmer than the rest of them. And then he placed it into a completely different part of the room away from that. And the room temperature was, 70, 75 degrees. So then he realized that there's something happening here where I don't see anything, but something's happening causing it to be hotter. And that again is the infrared.
No kidding. So Herschel is responsible for understanding that colors.
That the spectrum is wider than what we can see. Yes.
And also that colors are expressed at different temperatures.
Yeah.
Physically. Because there's people that claim they can see they can see colors with their eyes closed. Have you ever seen that? There's like this school, and these kids are like, they like hold up colors and shapes, and they like just say what they are. And there's like some guy, probably a lot like Christianity or something. I don't know. You gotta pay. You never seen that?
I can't say that I have, but
Seeing
I wouldn't doubt it.
eyes closed, shapes. Oh gosh. Cool. Come on. Could it be that saturated? Let's go to YouTube. Who sees?
Train yourself to read with blindfolds on.
Yep. This is it's supposedly it's real. Like it's not like a joke. There was the other thing was they looked like they were in like a gymnastics room. This on the right. That's what I'm talking about. This is what I saw long time ago. It's been around.
I just envision that girl falling and just eating it.
We got to start making our own videos. We got to do our own show where we make fun of
Again,
stuff
yeah.
like this.
Just reaction videos.
We'll put that on you and we'll crash you at the mall. Because they're looking out the bottom. They can see because they're looking out the bottom, Anthony. They're not. It's like,
They're all looking up for some reason, but they can see.
yeah. He's like, listen, she has they can't hear the audio on this,
Okay.
but she has a thick accent, which makes it so much more believable. Is it? Yeah. There's a film, Superhuman. Okay, here. Now we got to watch the film. Superhumanfilm.com. Remote viewing.
You probably have to pay for it.
I probably am.
Yeah, I don't buy that. I don't believe
Well, if
that
you
you
don't,
can see without
if you
seeing.
don't buy it, you don't get to see it. You got to
I mean,
buy
then-
it.
Then all doctors got to do is tell blind people, you just got to believe.
You're
You're not blind. You just don't believe that you can see.
This is what they told Ray Charles. He was able to see. He made all that great music. You can't. How could you make music like that if you can't see something? You gotta be seeing something. Stevie Wonder?
No, you're at a piano. You can feel the piano.
Yeah, but don't you feel things with your eyes? Aren't your eyes feeling the light? Or no? Are they tickling your cones and rods?
I don't know if that's the proper terminology for
I
it.
think the word is titillating.
Titillating?
Yeah, are they titillating your rod? The sun does that.
It titillates the rods and cones in your eyes.
The cones and the rods. It does. Supposedly. At least that's how we see. Anyways, getting back to what's important. Bruce Lee. This interview is the best. Everyone needs to see this interview. Bruce Lee, the Lost Interview. Oh, and Muhammad. Yeah, I want.
So what is it about this interview that's so that everyone needs to see about it?
I don't know, but there's like this strange embodiment in like celebrities or in certain cultural things that we've saved that just feels like supernatural. And this is kind of like that. The one after it with Muhammad Ali is kind of like that too. But I was watching a few videos, he was playing. Watch. I mean, tell me this. It is supernatural. Like, there's nothing beyond it.
Oh yeah, I've seen that with the nunchucks.
Okay,
Mob checks.
whatever. Google knows. He's really playing somebody with nunchucks. If you don't realize the supernatural ability of that person as a human, it's so what is special about him or that, or how did that happen? And I think if you listen to like the interview, it's just very telling about people and like our humanity. And obviously he died shortly.
He was young, wasn't he?
Yeah, in a movie he got. And he talks about his life. And you know what's kind of cool? Like there's stuff like this and different people like, I say like a lot. I was told that. I don't have that many videos out. Apparently I say like a lot and I need to sound more educated.
Okay.
So I won't say like so much.
I'll help point that out if you need.
All right. He was in a lot of videos and made a lot of videos that are inspiring. So with different models like Grok, people will build a model. With someone like Alan Watts or Terrence McKenna or Ram Dass or Muhammad Ali, and they'll just there'll be videos forever now because we have such a good, like a rich vault of their data that it
can be used to recreate their image and sound. Yeah.
And extrapolate. So it does, and it's really kind of cool. Like I listen to it, like I listen to talks from people that are passed away that they never made. It's
that they didn't actually talk.
They didn't actually say. But it hits all the points that made me like them in the first place. Like it's still, the vernacular is like, you could tell because it's a little dry. It doesn't have as much inflection or maybe as much animation as like the person actually did. But informationally, it's like, it's very spot on and very good and very current. I liked it a lot. But this just showed up, so I figured I'd show it to you because it was kind of cool. It's just like these people that popped up and like there's like these like modes of like just bizarre greatness, you know?
Sure. I mean, that's years and years of physical training, right? But
yeah.
I mean, anyone could train a lot and still not be able to achieve something like that. So this gotta be, it's like the right combination of mental focus and ability paired with training.
I think something that is, you're right. And I think the world is supernatural. Otherwise we wouldn't have the term, right? In its essence, the fundamental essence of existence and the world and matter and whatever, it's supernatural. And we love to see it in people because we recognize it in ourselves. We definitely recognize it in the world. But I think like, I gotta not say like, the supernatural in ourselves scares us. We don't know how to reconcile it. And when we see it in other people and have historically, we've kind of condemned that and them.
Either that or you put them up on a pedestal.
Which is basically what they did to Jesus. I mean, is a pedestal a good thing? And when you say pedestal, I'm putting that in kind of a mockery, but I'm not trying to put down Jesus, but I mean, they did put him on a pedestal.
Historically, yeah, I guess you're right. Historically, anyone who has quote unquote supernatural abilities has been condemned by society and like, I mean, taking, not to make this religious, but this is an example of like put him up on a pedestal. Like, okay,
I am putting him on a pedestal for playing ping pong with the nunchucks. 100%. Nunchucks. Didn't do it at all. All right. Touche. All right. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, my point is, again, he's an example of someone who was able to do great things. Society, people who couldn't do those things, admire that his abilities and essentially praised him for it, and that resulted in his fame and everyone knowing who he is even 50 years later. Now I think he passed away in the early 70s.
Okay.
I mean, pretty sure most people still know who Bruce Lee is, even if you ask the younger generations. Like, it's just he's infamous. He's become infamous.
Yeah.
There's, you know, people who have, I mean, I would view supernatural abilities in as far as artistry, painters, inventors, engineers. Think people have created these things that have helped advance society or given us new perspectives, or been able to do things that other people can't do. Depending on what the supernatural or the idea that they have, it could go the opposite way, where it's a radical idea or something that is amazing, but it puts people in an uneasy, make people feel uneasy about it, and that's where the condemnation comes in.
They become
Like,
fearful.
Yeah, and historically that tends to be in more religious settings. The obvious one of Jesus aside, you've got, in our religion at least, there's umpteen religions out there, who knows how many, and I'm not gonna speak. I'm not gonna speak to all of them, but like,
I wish I did.
I mean, you've got Mother Teresa, Gandhi, Jesus. Like, they fought for what they believed in. They portrayed these ideas that were going against the norms of society, and they were idolized for it in martyrdom after the fact. While they were going through the battles, it was in fact a battle. It was being pushed against them.
Yeah. Just, it seems like everybody has that. I mean, we do revere people that seem to have supernatural powers, and historically they get. I feel like we've turned a corner. Like, that's the corner that we have to turn as society. Like, and I think maybe we have. I mean, I know Charlie Kirk got shot, which is I don't know what it is. I guess sad, if anything. I don't know him.
No one should be shot for what they believe in.
Right. But then it's like, it's weird to reconcile, because I like to reconcile for just the sake, and not the sake of being like, well, this is how it is, right? Like, completely subjectively, and try to take as many stances as you can, right? And you say like, okay, well, if everything that exists is God, then whatever happens is God, and there's no such thing as God being wrong. So then how do you reconcile that? Like, from a religious perspective, is saying like God is the creator of things.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then the only way you could reconcile is that was, well, then like he served his purpose. Like, that was his purpose, like to be martyred, to be that example. Is that necessary? Can we move past it as society? Well, if we could, it wouldn't happen, but it's a part of us as people. It happens. And it's the crazy person and it's a conspiracy, and it's the government, right? But maybe it's most likely just somebody that's just a little unwell. Let's put it that way. I mean, what do you, like, it's separate from you. How do you, I mean, obviously you don't have to deal with it, so I'm putting it on you, but how would you deal with that? Like, how do you rationalize that in a religious way, or do you not?
I don't know. It's difficult to reconcile things like that. It just goes to show how much is out of our control. And I mean, I don't like going into like super religious or even political discussions, and because there's so much division on people's opinions on things like that, and
Yeah.
I feel like, especially nowadays, it just creates more controversy than purely being objective discussion, and just people's opinions, and people, everyone's entitled to their opinion. Now it's, especially in today's society, everything
Polarized.
everything is so polarized. But I mean, again, violence in this world, in this country, has just especially political violence, is just. I mean, and I don't know if it was. I don't know if it's literally gotten worse over time to the point where we are now, or if it's a matter of uh, ignorance on my part. When I was younger, I just wasn't aware. If it's just a matter of like with social media nowadays, everything's just so much more in your face to like make it seem like it's more.
That's a question that comes up in here a lot. What you just said. I don't know. I think, yeah. What is it? We don't know. But
I think it's probably a combination of all of it, right? Like, I don't think it was as prevalent in the past.
you don't think so?
There definitely was violence. I mean, history shows like, right? But I feel like, especially like take school shootings. I mean, there's sadly so many that can be listed for any year in the past 5-10 years. Like the list is ridiculously long. The fact that, again, were they just not broadcast? Were they not? Was the news not as widespread? Where this was something the country was aware of beforehand, or has it actually gotten worse?
Or was there so much more happening and so many more people looking to be news reporters that you just have the isolated incidences reported isolated and not globally because it's just more people doing the work? You know?
Right.
There's
Or
like,
again, nowadays, population has grown, so more of the country is occupied, less areas where things can go unnoticed. Everyone's got a camera on their phone. Things are being
documented
and recorded much more now without you even realizing. What?
It's recording without you realizing. That's how I was just pointing that out.
Yeah, fair point. But it's, again, how many things could have happened, did happen, I'm sure, back in the day. No one ever knew about it because there was no way to, again, anywhere you go now, there could be, I mean, your phone, you got your phone on you. Yeah. Your location can be tracked by anybody anytime they want. If the government
I'm good with that. I like that.
If the government wanted to, they can recreate your steps from the past, I'm assuming, past, whatever time frame.
I bet, yeah.
Right? 20, 30 years ago, it was your alibi.
You had
unless there was eyewitnesses to prove otherwise, right? Like this, like you could have done whatever you wanted, disappeared for a couple of days, come back, and who knows what you did during that time? You went hunting. Okay, what did you hunt? Who did you hunt? Like
Dick Cheney.
But
I don't know. But yeah, right. Well, that might be the thought now, because it's like a fear-based thought. Whereas before it was like, hey, whoever is alive is alive, because like that's what the animals know. And there wasn't like, there's like laws and things like that, but the law of the land is always kind of the law of the land. But now in a culture that's very refined and domesticated, we have to move deeper into ourselves as thinking things. And maybe want to say like the psyche, like moving in. How does it? Well, I'm not sure. Kind of had a spark there for a second, but I'm not sure. I don't know.
I go back to I think it's a combination of things have gotten worse, but it's also just amplified by the increased coverage of everything through various social media platforms and news outlets and everything.
So here's the idea. Like, there's this strong need to be like empathetic. You're supposed to be empathetic. Culturally, everyone knows that. Why? Why is there this huge empathy pulse? You don't, like, historically there was not. And like, unfortunately, you couldn't be as empathetic as you wanted to because the world was just a little more barbaric, just in its. But now, since we see the barbarism, we say, hey, we're not like that. And now there's like this push for empathy. But at the same time, you have to worry about yourself. Like, a lot of people don't have that ability. Like, they're too kind of just like they're not afraid of the world killing. Like, you know what I mean? Like the nature is not coming for them. So they're very concerned about feelings and what you think and what you say. But all that comes down to like language is just models. It's not reality. And people identify the reality with the language, and then they'll kill somebody over language, right? Which is what this country stands for, freedom of speech. You know, it's true, but then you have someone that's basically sacrificed for freedom of speech. I mean, and however you look at that, like, then do you say like morally, if that's the case, is the lesson, hey, yeah, America says freedom of speech is okay, but God says you're gonna have to go. Is that how? Like, I don't know. Like, how do you look at it?
That's an interesting way to look at it.
So I'm
honestly haven't given it thought, but I have not thought of it in that context.
I'm gonna ask you, then I'll stop going on a tear, because it goes back to religion, and that's what I thought about one day. Like if you grew up in the church, you idolize Jesus for, certain reasons, like sacrifice himself. He was a giving person, put others first, the 10 Commandments, it's all very good. But if you look at it completely objectively as cause and effect, the result is if you behave that way, the society is going to kill you. And one day I walked into church, and when I looked at the cross, that's what I saw. And it like totally pushed me back. I was like, there's like a man hanging in the rafters. Like, I get there's a story. Like, but what are you saying? And then maybe it's because the idea of aphorisms. All right. Somehow that's a question. I want to know what you think about that. Like,
I've had that similar thought. Like, I mean, we were raised in Catholicism, Christianity. Like, I believe in Jesus. I go to church. But I have had the thought that if there was a second coming of Jesus Christ.
Yeah. There have been a lot on the internet.
If there was a legitimate second coming,
yeah,
our society would not accept it.
Well, they know what to do.
Just like they didn't accept it the first time around.
They got the book, right? They just follow the instructions, repeat, right? Rinse and repeat.
Is
that what happened?
Again, no one would believe. I don't think anyone would actually believe if it was in fact the second coming. I think it would just be
all right. And why is that though? Let's be just real. Why is that?
Because I think everyone's just too skeptical, and for one,
if you're wrong, it's like damnation for eternity. If you believe it, supposedly, right? I mean, if you're, I want to say conditioned to the way that I feel like we kind of were. There's like a mindset in society where you don't talk about it. You don't know. Not supposed to say.
You just accept it.
Yeah.
But
you don't talk about it. Because if you have to say something that you think is real, it might be against it, and you don't want to say that.
Okay, but if you take Christianity, which is all based on believing the Old and the New Testament. You've got Judaism, which only believes the Old Testament, right?
Okay.
Within Christianity, there's different branches. There's Catholicism, Lutheranism. I'm only citing two, but I know there's a handful of different ones. But again, that one interpretation is now branched into slightly different versions, right?
Yeah.
And then outside of Christianity, we already said it before, there's how many other religions, people that don't believe in Christianity.
But why do you think Jesus wouldn't be accepted? He would be killed again if he came back.
Because everyone already has different interpretations and beliefs on what supposedly originally already happened. So now everyone's going to have this one.
So they believe in, like, the language dictates their belief. They believe in an idea, right, of the past. and they're not looking. They're looking through the veil of their social conditioning, right? I mean, everybody is.
Basically,
Who
yeah.
isn't? I guess who isn't? How could you not? I don't know why I think that's important to say.
I think religion is such an ideological concept that no one can ever be that good, and it has to remain an ideological something like that cannot be.
But I feel like true religious people fall into the realm of spirituality because I don't think it can be exclusive and inclusive. So like, I think if you're actually religious in a deep way, you're probably spiritual. And then if you're a very spiritual person, you just always have a really good feeling. And like fundamentally, that's it. And I don't know if it really matters what you believe as an adult male that grew up with a religion taught to me. I wasn't taught theology. I wasn't taught all the religions and different ideas. But I wonder.
I guess one of the reasons I think a second coming would not be accepted is because, again, people have these ideologies in their minds, and the reality would never live up to their expectations.
That's very interesting. It's like the whole fundamental basis of like marketing and like release dates and why you don't get to know what Apple's working on.
I mean, you look at, again, the Bible is different iterations. You got the Luke, Mark, John, the different versions of the same stories. And it's a history book, supposedly, right? It's their recounting of what they saw that happen. Any history book is just someone telling the story of what they saw happen.
Right.
And you and I could watch the very same thing, and the way we recount the story is going to be slightly different.
Absolutely.
And not only that, then people's interpretations on what we write or what we say is going to be slightly different.
So isn't that...
So everyone's got in their mind these, I feel like, again, it's religion. Jesus is God's son. He's a savior. I mean, I don't know about you. I don't know about other people, but like, there's like this perfect ideology of like what we expect. I would expect Jesus to be, to look like, to act like.
Okay.
And if second coming comes and he's just a regular guy who happens to be able to do a couple miracles and just really is a positive person,
Yeah.
I'd be like, I feel
Right,
like society as a whole would be like, no, that's not what Jesus is supposed to be. And that's why I feel like, again, everyone's got their own perceptions of what it should be.
Right.
And the reality may match some people's, but may not match a lot of people's. And overall, I feel like it would not be accepted.
Because of that, how is it so basically then like religion kind of just becomes spirituality at that point, because it's more about the fundamental generalizations than it is about like this tale to believe in this like bizarre, weird metaphysics we don't quite grasp.
I feel most religions ultimately get to that spirituality concept just through different stories or avenues of what they believe in to get to that point.
Yeah. It's funny because it is relative, and I think like language plays a huge role in that. And because like if you're not labeling somebody as LGBTQ, like no one's standing up for LGBTQ. And a lot of times like a label is like something you hide behind. And we as people do it. Like it's fundamental to our nature, obviously. We label everything. It's like it's like, and you know, we like to decorate the letter. I mean, it's the amount of nuance we could imagine in the world. I mean, we're very verbose species.
Yeah, there's people that need the label, that want to be labeled. Others don't. I mean, to each their own. But
it's interesting. I mean, we've been doing pretty good. We're almost at 2.5. What do you think?
I think you're going to have to trim some of this down.
Not trimming any of it down. Maybe we'll get back on and stay on topic a different day.
Sounds good.
All right. It was great seeing you.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming.
Oh. This is